Good morning to each and everyone. Hopefully you've had a good weekend so far. So welcome to another Sunday Live where we do a 20 question mock test and has a perception demonstration towards the end. And I'll answer any questions that you may have about your theory test or your driving test. So let's just get this window up. So hopefully you guys have had a good week, and if you guys are studying, just gonna hear myself in the background. And if you guys are studying, you've had a good one so far. Remember, if you've got any questions, please type in the chat Q semicolon. It just makes it a lot easier for me to find the questions. If it's just typed in, it just looks like a comment, so I may miss it. Not deliberately, just an oversight because there's so many of you who type in there, especially when we're doing the mock test itself. So I think I'm all set. Let me just get my cursor up. So when we do the mock test, you can see where I'm pointing to. All right, let's say hello to some of you guys that were here nice and early. Chidi, good morning to you. AJ Yee, I'm probably saying that totally wrong, but good morning to you. I've got my test tomorrow. First of all, wish you luck with that. Please come back next week, let us know how you got on. If you've got any questions, any concerns, type in the chat while we're live. Let me send you in there. Totally confident for tomorrow. Hopefully you're feeling confident anyway. Good morning to you. Felicia, good morning. I've not seen your name before, Felicia, so good morning to you. Ariel TV, good morning. Hopefully you are well. Good morning. I'm assuming that's Sammy Travels. Good morning, I'm new here, but I've watched your videos. It's very helpful. I have my theory test on the 28th of October. 28th of October, that's about 4 weeks away. 4 weeks to the day. So you've got 4 lives. I'm glad you're new, so welcome, first and foremost. So let me come out of this one. So yeah, welcome, and you've got 4 weeks of lives. So while you're studying during the weeks, write down any questions, turn up on a Sunday morning, ask any questions. Let me send you in there nice and confident on the 28th. Yolanda, good morning to you. Miriam, good morning. My test Tuesday, I need your help, please. Wait, let me quickly explain to all of you. Just type in I need help doesn't help me to help you. I don't know what you need help on. I don't know you, remember? So if you need help, type the question in the chat. You're testing on Tuesday. There's not much I'm going to be able to do over the live session. But yeah, type your questions in, but you need to tell me what you need help with. The question, category, has a perception. Just saying to me that you need help doesn't help me at all. Priya, good morning. Jennifer, good morning to you. Carl, C, morning. I failed twice. Don't think I'll ever pass until I came across you. So help. Hopefully I will get there. First of all, welcome. I've not seen your name before. And you said you failed twice. So if you failed twice, it means you got paperwork. Hopefully you kept it. And what you want to do with the paperwork, this is for all of you who's failed it a couple of times, is look at the paper. You got data. That's what I call it. You've now got data. Because you know how the test works. You've been in there. You've experienced how the test works. So look at the paperwork, put them side by side, and then look at the categories. I'm assuming it's the questions you failed on. But look at the categories of what you got questions wrong in. And if they're duplicated on both of them, that shows a common denominator. You're going to need to restudy those. If it's different categories, for argument's sake, let's say it's 5 categories on the first one and 5 different categories on the second one, it's a lack of general knowledge. Because if you're getting 10 different categories on 2 tests, it's a general knowledge thing. But you found me now. I'm here every Sunday. So like I said, while you're studying during the week, don't be afraid to write down any questions that you may have and bring it along onto the live sessions and let me answer it. Stella, good morning to you. Terry, good morning. Hopefully you are well. Not seen your name before. So, you said it's my first time. Welcome, Christian. How is the best way to start? You said you're taking tests twice. So why would you be starting? Morning, I failed twice. Yeah, you said you failed twice. So I don't understand your question. How would you start? I just gave you the information anyway, data. But that's worrying that you're asking what's the best way to start if you're taking 2 tests. Man, how are you? Hopefully you are well. Hazard perception, I will be doing at the end. I'm not sure what you mean by hazard lights. If you're talking about hazard lights, there's nothing to teach. Teach on hazard perception, hazard lights. There's nothing to teach on hazard lights. All right, let me do a quick overview and then we'll get into the 20 question mock test. Andrew, first of all, good morning to you. I failed the second time. 37. If you got 37 out of 50, 61 out of 75, right? Hazard perception sorted. Don't need to worry about that. Just don't neglect it. If you... Sorry, just reading one underneath, comment underneath. Anyway, sorry. If you failed twice and you got 37 on the second one, that's the general knowledge. That's back to basics. What you're going to need to do is strengthen that knowledge. I would suggest you go back to the categories, do the categories individually. If you're getting, that's if you studied, because you said you failed the second time. So I'm assuming you must have studied at some point. If you haven't studied, then 37 is an average score with no studying. If you have studied and you're getting 37 and it's on your second time, that's a general knowledge. 13 questions wrong. That's going to be around about 9 categories at least that you got questions wrong in. 9 categories out of 14, that's over half. That's a general knowledge. You're back to square one on that one, doing categories individually. That's the best way to get the knowledge up for the third attempt. And so I was just reading T's comment. Can I wear 2 pairs of sunglasses, only take off the top pair before entering the tunnel? Why would you wear 2 pairs of sunglasses? I'm not understanding why you would wear 2 pairs of sunglasses. That's dangerous in itself to wear 2 glasses. Anyway, can I wear 2 pairs of sunglasses and only take 1 off the top pair before entering the tunnel? If you're talking about the theory test, no. If you're talking about it in real life, that's what it's down to you and your 6 points on your probation. But I'm not understanding why you would wear 2 pairs of sunglasses. Makes no sense. But like I said, for a theory test, the answer is no, because that's one of the questions. What do you do for entering the tunnel? Take off sunglasses or tinted glasses. Sammy Chappell, thanks so much. I'm most likely weak on hazard perception. As I said, I'm going to do a hazard perception towards the end at the 20 question mock test, just like the real test would be. You do the questions first and then you do hazard perception. So let me go straight on to the overview first. Because Carl C asked me what's the best way to start. Let me explain about the theory test. It's understanding is the best way to start. It's 50 questions. It's multiple choice. Your 50 questions is made up of 14 different categories. That's why if you watch my videos or hear me on the lives, I always say do the categories individually because you don't know how your test is going to be made up. 2 things. One, the apps that you use are sampled questions. I say this every single week because I get emails every single week. Even in the boot camp, people keep asking me, especially the ones who's taken tests before and failed it and joined the boot camp, but the questions were worded differently. I'm saying it now live. The questions are sampled questions on any app that you use. And it even says on the apps that they're sampled questions. The revision questions is the way they use it, but they're sampled questions because nobody has access to the real questions. I only know some of the real questions because of the feedback of the students that I've taught over the years. Now, if there's 10 of you in the room, which I say every single week, it's 10 different tests. It's not the same test. So for example, if your friend took a test yesterday, they can tell you roughly what type of questions they got, but it's going to be totally different for you. That's why I keep stressing, understand the questions, understand the answers, because you don't know how it's going to be, your test is going to be made up. But anyway, 50 questions made up of 14 different categories. You have 57 minutes to do this. You need 43 to pass, but you have 57 minutes in total, which if you studied, it's more than enough time. But again, as I tell my students, always take your time to read the question carefully, read the answers carefully. If you're not sure what the answer is, don't freak out, don't stress, flag it, move on. And then when you got the remaining time left, go back and you can spend that time just looking at the flagged ones. But 57 minutes is more than enough time. Stuttering for some reason. So hopefully it's going out for you guys properly. If there's an issue, just type in the chat, there's an issue. But I'm seeing my camera is stuttering. But anyway, hazard perception, 14 videos, 13 of them have single hazards. One of them's got a double. You need 44 out of 75 on that. Ideally, you want 4s and 5s all the way through, a nice 8 or 9 on your double. And that's going to give you more than enough points to pass that side of things. What you're looking for the theory test, like I said, if you understand it, you're looking for safety options. The driving test, the theory test is about safety and control for outcomes. And if it's not a safety answer, and someone's asking me about the wearing two sunglasses or wearing sunglasses in a tunnel is not safe at any time. But that would be why you can't wear sunglasses in a tunnel. And if it's not a safe outcome, then you're looking for a controlled outcome, which is normally your motorway questions and your first aid questions. So that's the overview of your theory test. So let me just catch up on the comments from you guys. This is going to be really hard to do this morning, the way I see it, because my camera keeps stuttering. But anyway, hopefully I'll get used to it. My driving practical comes up on the 7th of October. 7th of October. That's only around the corner. That's next week, right? Well, not this week, coming the week after, I believe. But first and foremost, well done for getting the test date, and I wish you luck with that. Hopefully you're taking lessons with your driving instructor. Hopefully they're taking you around the area where your test is going to be. The only thing I could suggest with that is with your driving test, this is for the night before, do what you normally do. This is what I tell all my students. If you normally go to bed, for example, at 10 o'clock, go to bed at 10 o'clock. Don't go bed extra early, because a lot of people think I'm going to go bed extra early so I can wake up fresh. You'll wake up tired. If your body is used to 8 hours sleep, it needs 8 hours sleep. Once you give it 2 more or less, then you're going to wake up tired. And with the nerves, the adrenaline, it's going to mess up your body chemistry. So do what you normally do. If you have something to eat in the mornings, have something to eat in the morning. Do not miss breakfast. If you don't have anything to eat, do not eat anything. Your body needs to act as normal as possible with the nerves. Do not drink caffeine. People will tell you to drink a lot of sports drinks, Red Bull, blah, blah, blah. Do not drink caffeine unless you are a caffeine drinker. So if you normally drink coffee, fine, have your normal quota, but do not change anything. And on the day of the test, just take your time. Do not take risk on your driving test. It's not worth it, because if you take a risk, it's not correct, it's going to be a fail. Whereas, for example, the biggest one students worry about is hesitation at give way lines. So I'm just seeing my computer jumping all over the place. Yeah, like I said, hopefully I'm going out live to you guys still. Anyway, hesitation, give way lines. With my students, I always say to them, ask yourself, is it safe? If the answer is yes, then it can't be hesitation, because if the answer is no and you're still sitting there, it's because it wasn't safe in the first place. Anything you do, always ask, is it safe? Is it safe? Is it safe to go past the bus? Is it safe to go at the giveaway line? Is it safe to go at the roundabout? The brain is designed to protect you. And if you ask a direct question, yes or no, it will give you a direct answer, the answer you're looking for. But if you ask, can I go? By the time the brain analyzes speed of the car, where is it going, is it flashing you, blah, 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 it's going to be too late. But don't take any chances. Do not take any risk. And when the examiner asks you to pull up on the left, because you're going to get parked up on the left minimum 4 times, uphill, downhill, level gradient, angle, start. Every time he asks you to park up on the left, I would suggest you go handbrake, neutral, and rest your feet, just chill. And then he will say to you, thanks very much, drive on when you're ready. And it is when you're ready. Do not rush anything. And same thing with your maneuver, whatever maneuver you get, do not rush it. Because if you rush, you're going to probably fail it, especially with your maneuver. It's only going to see you reverse once and once only. It needs to be sure that you can do that. Left and right turns, he will see enough of those over a period of time. But the most important is just take your time with that. But yeah, I wish you good luck with that, Terry, because you've been here every Sunday, basically. So I wish you a lot of luck with that. Finish your journey of getting your license. Nice early Christmas present there. Francisca, good morning to you. Good morning. Thank you for the videos past first time. First of all, I've not seen you before, so welcome. 47 out of 50, 63 out of 74 has perception. Well done to you. It's a high score. Congratulations on passing. Terry, just a quick thing. What area are you taking your driving test? Just out of interest. Marcel, good morning to you. Francis, I enjoy learning about rules of the road. You're one of the few that enjoys the rules of the road. But if you like it, it makes it easier to stick, to be fair. But I don't know many people who like learning the rules of the road. Yeah, there is a lot to learn. The reason why there's a lot to learn, because you're going to use that skill after you've passed the theory, after you pass your driving test, because it's constant learning. So you need that. Otherwise, you could lose your license in the first 2 years. All right, let me start the mock test. Oh, Selena, how are you? Long time. How's the driving going? All right, let me come out of this. Right, share screen. Right. For those of you that are new, the way we do this is read the question. So we're on question 1. What should you do if you have to stop while you're going through a congested tunnel? If you think it's if you think it's A, this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. If you think it's A, please put 1A. The reason for that is because there's a delay between me and YouTube, you and YouTube. And I want to make sure every answer that comes through, we're on the same question number. So please put the question number and the letter of choice. Remember, if you've got any questions, please type it into the chat. Q semicolon. It makes it a lot easier for me to find. And you're guaranteed of getting your question answered because I'll see it. Hi, Don. Good morning. Thank you so much. I passed my Vivian. Well done to you. Congratulations on passing. And thank you for coming to the live and let me know how you got on. See, look, Chidi's done it here. Q, semicolon, your vehicle's broken down on the motorway. What should you do if you aren't able to get onto the hard shoulder on time? Put your hazard lights on. It depends on the options. I can give you quite a few options on this because this is a real test question. It's not that app question. But yeah, if you've broken on the motorway and you can't get to the hard shoulder, put your hazard lights on because you're a hazard. Would be the answer to that one. Or when it's safe to get out of your car, get out and you get to the hard shoulder. Andrews, first of all, hello to you. Hi, I didn't study. I watch your videos and learn. If that works for you, it works for you. But my videos are supposed to be used in conjunction with the app because remember, you need to fill in the gaps of other questions because my videos don't cover every single question on there. I just try to give you a deeper understanding of what they are asking, but my videos are designed to be used with the app because you need to fill in those little gaps for your driving lessons. But if it works for you, it works. All right, let's catch up with these things. Number 1, let's find the ones. Ashfield, NG 17 area. What area is that, NG 17? I know you said Ashfield. What area, what major town or city is it near? Have you got a test coming up, Selena? All right, you guys are going for Seek. Yeah, it's got safe in the answer. So You got when it's got safe, safety, safely, safer in the answer. You have to. I'm not saying it's going to be the correct answer, but you do have to shortlist as a possible answer, and it's got to say keep a safe distance from the vehicle in front, which is always going to be correct. What color are the reflective stars between the hard shoulder and the left-hand lane of a motorway? Well, good morning to you. Welcome. Is that Void Vortex? 8th of October is week after next. So you got this Sunday. While you're studying, this is for all of you. While you guys are studying during the week, write down any concerns, any problems that you may have, bring it to the live. So Void, come back next week with any questions. Or if you've got questions now, type in the chat. Let me answer it. First of all, welcome. I've not seen your name before. I've got my test tomorrow. Well, good luck with that tomorrow. My last I got 42. That's 8 questions wrong. If you studied, you should get over the line next time. Like I said, that's 8 questions wrong, so you should get over the line next time if you studied and retained the information, which is most important. Ty was passed the test last Wednesday, 47, 50, 55. Thank you for your videos. You're welcome. Thank you for coming to the live, by the way. I've not seen your name before, so I'm assuming you're breaking your silence. I appreciate that. Got it in January, which is literally just around the corner. Oh, sorry, I just realized I've got 2B, I've got a 2D here. And let me go back to 2B. You guys are split on there. I've got 2Ds, 2Bs. GP, watching for a while. Just want to say thank you so much. I passed my first test on Tuesday. Thank you for your teaching. You are welcome. And again, I've not seen your name before, so thank you for coming to the live and breaking the silence and let me know that you've passed. Congratulations. I wish you the best with your driving. Right, you guys are split on this. I'm assuming D's got to be correct because the majority of you guys are going for D, but some of you are still going for B. Some of you are still not typing in the question number. Type in the question number like Bruno has, and then the letter of choice. If it doesn't, the number doesn't show up. I can't show it. I don't know if you're referring to this question or the previous one. You guys are going for D's and B's. What color the reflective star? All right, let me show you how to work this out. Let's get my markers up. Wrong screen. Right, so you guys are split between B and D. Right, so let's do this. B, let's get rid of this first. And was it B and D? B and D, B and D. Right, so we're getting rid of these two. Process of elimination. So, right, I can see why you guys are going for B. Right, this is how you work it out. What color the reflectives does between the hard shoulder and left-hand lane. What you want to do is isolate these 3 letters, R, W, A. And then when they do the question, work out where or what color they're talking about. So they'll either give you the color, you need to work out where it is, or they give you the where it is, and you got to work out the color. In this case, it's left-hand lane. So all you got to do now is go to the 3 letters, go for on this case, it's left. You're going for the far letter on the left, which is R, hence why it's D. Green is slip road, but I understand why you're going for this because it is on the left, but it doesn't say lanes. Slip road is not a lane. So if it's got slip road, it's automatically green. If it's got lanes, you need to work it out. So that's how you do it. R, W, A. So in this case, on the left, because it's got left here, it's R. If it was in the middle, then obviously you're going for the W, which would be white. And if it was on the right-hand side, reservation, then you would be going for A, which is amber. So that's how you work it out. If I get rid of this, I'd better click it. Right, a lot of words. You arrive at the scene of a crash where someone is bleeding heavily from a wound in their arm. Nothing is embedded in the wound. What could you do to help? Let's get back to your comments, see if I can find them. My name is David. My last test I had 42, and I have my test tomorrow morning. Well, hopefully you've studied. There's not much you can do if your test is tomorrow. Hopefully you've studied, and between when the last test was and now, hopefully you studied the categories, because like I said, there's not much you're going to be able to do in 24 hours. The last thing you want to do is study now at this stage. Turn up early tomorrow. You're supposed to be there 15 minutes beforehand. I would turn up at least half an hour beforehand so you can be chilled and relaxed. Read the questions carefully, as I always say, read the answers carefully. And just like we did here on the previous question, process of elimination. But like I said, I wish you the best luck. There's not much you can do in the 24 hours. How long is the driving exam? You'll be quoted 35 to 40 minutes, give or take. It's buffering. Yeah, I don't know if that's on my end or YouTube's end, but I suppose it's on mine because I can see it doing it on my camera. But my interconnection, let me just double check that, to be fair. My internet connection is solid. Dorothy, congratulations on passing, Dorothy. 45.66. 75, 74. Well done to you. Can you say thank you? You have a lovely Sunday too. Thank you for coming to let me know that you've passed. Chidi, all you got to do is type your question once. Typing it 5-6 times is not going to change anything. I've seen it. I'll get round to it. Chad, how are you? Welcome. Felicia, good morning to you. What are we on? 3? Let's find the 3s. That man's got D. Again, I will say, got A here. You guys aren't typing the question number, just like Jennifer's done. 3, put the letter of choice. If it doesn't show up with a number, I can't show it because I'm not sure if you guys are on the same question, because there's a delay with YouTube, and if it's buffering, that's even worse. I'll say again, Chidi, you just have to type your question once only. I have seen it. I will get to answer it. Good morning, didn't pass my test. My car, 4560. Thank you for your videos. You're welcome. Right, the majority of you guys are gone for D. So let's do that. What's D? Apply pressure of the wound. Yeah. Apply firm pressure. Stop the flow of blood. What should you do if you're being followed by an ambulance showing the flashing blue light? And I want to put my project because I can't find the dates. That's the same for everyone across the country. It's no different for it's everyone. What you need to do is just keep jumping online every so often, different times of the day, and hopefully a cancellation comes up. The DVSA release new dates Monday morning, so if you want to get up tomorrow morning, man, you got a fast internet connection. You got a fast internet connection to see your answer come up. Yeah, the DVSA releases new test dates Monday morning at 6 o'clock. 6 a.m. So if you want to jump up tomorrow morning or for the next couple of Mondays and just try to get those dates that come out. But yes, the same for everybody. The 4s are coming through. D. All right, you guys are going for D. Pull over as soon as it's safe. Yeah, it's got safe. Pull over as soon as it's safe to do so. I will give another little tip as well with because we discussed this in the boot camp the other day. If it's safe to do so, the answer is always going to be correct. So if it's safe to do so, or something along this line, the answer is always going to be correct. That's a great phrase they use. I even use it on my driving lessons. Always stay left if it's safe to do so. Always go past if it's safe to do so. So if it's safe to do so, it's always going to be the correct answer. But if it's only got safe in it, like I said, you have to shortlist as a possible. It's not always going to be the safe answer or the correct answer, but it's a possible correct answer. But in saying that, still read the questions and answers. Don't go in there and think, oh, Dorian said it's safe to do so, I'm choosing no, and still read the other options. Just in case there's two similar with it's safe to do so, one safer than the other. On a 3-lane motorway, which lane should you use if there's no traffic ahead? Right, Chidi. If my car gets a puncture while you're driving on the motorway, what should you do when you stop on the motorway? What should you do at this point? You're asking a lot of motorway questions. I'm assuming you're struggling with motorway questions. If my car gets a puncture while you're driving on the motorway, what should you do? If you get a punch and you stop on the motorway, go and call for help is the answer. That's the common answer for the theory test. You can't change your own tire. It's illegal to change your own tire on the motorway. It's dangerous. Go and get help. And the other questions: walk in the direction of the marker post. How do you use the phone? Face the traffic. See for me. Hopefully I'm saying that correct. I passed my theory test on Friday, first attempt. Congratulations, first attempt. Pressure's off. Thank you for coming to let me know how you got on. Appreciate that. And we're on 5s. Guys, going for 5C. On the 3-lane motorway. Yeah, it's always going to stay left as possible. Stay left when possible. Always stay left. You're turning right at a crossroads. An oncoming driver is also turning right. What's the advantage of turning behind the oncoming vehicle? I keep getting 42 on my theory tests. Done it like 3 times now. The reason why you're getting 42 because you're not understanding the questions. That's the reason why it's consistent. I know you may feel like you're studying, but you're not learning from mistakes. That's why the score stays the same. It's a common thing. What you guys do when you get a question wrong, especially on the app, you get a question wrong, you go straight to the right answer the app gives you, and then you try to memorize that. And it's not deliberately, but you just think, I remember that for next time. The problem with that, you didn't work out why you chose the wrong answer in the first place. The way to do this is when you get a question wrong, you want to learn from mistakes. So when you get a question wrong, you want to look at your wrong answer and try to work out why you chose it and understand why it was wrong. Now the brain's got that up here mentally remembered, and then you go looking at the correct answer. But the reason why you keep getting 42 because you keep picking the same answers you picked before. You just don't realize it. Hence why the score says the same. It's about learning from mistakes. If you don't learn from mistakes, you don't move forward. You stay where you are. That's why when you're studying at home, it's good to make mistakes because as long as you learn from it. What you guys try to do is get, for example, 50 out of 50. You learn nothing from getting 50 out of 50. You learn more by getting 43, 44 because you're trying to aim to get to 50. But once you get to 50, complacency sets in. And it's the same thing when you guys learn to drive. Making mistakes is natural. And the more mistakes you make on your driving lesson, the better driver you're, providing you've got the instructor that explains why, the better you become as a driver, which means it gives you the best possible chance of passing first time as well. Be mistake free is not a good thing. To be fair, you want to make mistakes, not deliberately, but you want to make mistakes to learn from it. And also you see how you work under pressure when you're getting mistakes. Are you going to crack under pressure, or can you just rise to the occasion? You guys are going for B. Yeah, you're turning behind the vehicle so you can have a clearer view of the road. You're driving on the motorway. Which lane should you get into well before you reach your exit? So I need to go all the way back. Sorry, Felicia. Good morning. I think I've done that one already, but I'm behind on the comments. Good morning to you. Happy Sunday to you. Martin, good morning. Wow, 50 out of 50. I'm glad I went back to look at the comments. Martin, congratulations. Got the magical 50 and 64 at 75, which is a really high score. Well done to you. Not many people get that. So well done. And I've not seen your name before, so welcome to the live and thank you for letting me know that. Appreciate that. Dorothy, I think I've done that passing Wednesday. I don't know if I gave you your props, Felicia, but I'm going to do it again if I haven't. Passed my theory test on Wednesday, 47 out of 65. 75, well done to you. So I'm just going to catch up on these comments. Number 7. Seven. Right, you guys are all going for A, so yeah, left-hand lane. You come off on the left on the motorway, it's left-hand lane. You're turning left from a main road into a side road. What should you do if there's a pedestrian on the pavement waiting to cross the side road? Chidi, please, at what point am I allowed to change my punctured tire on any road? If it happens at home, can I change it myself? You can change your tire in a built-up area, providing it's safe to do so. So if you're parked up on the left in a built-up area, then you can change your tire yourself, but you cannot. The only place you cannot change your own tire is on the motorway, because obviously cars are doing 70 miles an hour and it's dangerous. So you can change your tires at any point as long as your car's in a safe place for it to happen. You guys are going for C. C. Wait. Yeah, pedestrians have priority, so you're always going to give them way. You're on a motorway. What does it mean when a red cross is displayed above the hard shoulder? With the real test, when you guys are going, always read the question very carefully. Then look at the image. Sometimes there's clues in the image, and then go to your options. But have a good look, especially if it's got more detail on that. Samuel, silent follower, just want to say thank you for your videos. Did my favorite test yesterday, Saturday. 40, oh, just missed it by 1, but 49, a high score, well done to you. I missed the magical 50 by 1. 56 out of 70. Another high score has perception. Well done to you. Thank you for breaking the silence and coming to the live and let me know how you got on. And I wish you luck with the driving side of things when it comes round. For hazard is for 2 click or 3 click the best thing. 2 clicks is better because you have the less chance of racking up clicks. But if you have to go for a 3 click just to make sure you get a score, then go for 3 clicks. But I teach the 2 click method. What do you do when your car broke down where there's no emergency phone to call for help? If it's on the motorway, there's always emergency phones because they're a mile apart. If it's anywhere else, there won't be an emergency phone. So like I said to Chidi's question, if you, in saying that you said broke down, not changed tire. Right, so let me just do that again because you're not changing tires, you're breaking down. What do you do when your car's broken down when there's numbers? So if it's on the motorway you've broken down, there's always an emergency phone. They're a mile apart. They're standard, mile apart where possible. So that's answer that question. If you're broken down in a built-up area, lock up your car, go and get help. There's nothing wrong with that. Put your hazard lights on, but lock up your car, go and get help. I have my ferry tomorrow. I wish you luck with that tomorrow. Please come back next week. Let us know how you got on. Again, if you've got any questions, type into the chat Q semicolon. There was a right. Let's just do that. 9B. You must not travel in this lane. Above the hard shoulder. Yeah, correct. Don't go in the lane. It's hard shoulder. Can't use it. For those of you talking about breaking down, you've broken down on a 2-way road. You have a warning triangle. At least how far from your vehicle should you place the warning triangle? The Pigman 23. You've answered your own question. Read your question very carefully. I'm sorry. Yeah, read what you typed very carefully. I break it down. I have my theory tomorrow. What's the best advice? Because the last time I failed because I rushed it. And in my practice, I keep getting 49 out of 50. So you're passing it, but doing it in 5 minutes. The chances are, the reason, well, you know what you felt because you rushed it. There's your answer there. When you go in tomorrow, slow yourself down. The reason why you can do it in 5 minutes, because I'm assuming you've done a lot of mock tests, so the questions are familiar, so you know what the answers are, and you just go straight for the answer. That's the reason why you're getting 49 out of 50 on your mock test, because the answers are familiar. But you've answered your own question. What's the best advice? Slow yourself down. But the problem that you've got is because you've been doing it in 5-10 minutes at home. It's going to be very hard to slow down when you go for the real test. When you guys practice at home, you should be practicing the way you're going to take the real test, because you can't switch it on and off. If you're rushing at home, you're going to rush on the real test. And if you slow yourself down because you're not used to slowing down, the brain's going to overthink it. And now you're going to second guess yourself, hence why you fell. So you shouldn't be doing it in 5 minutes at home. You should be doing it in 20, 25, 30 minutes at home. So when you go for the real test, it's natural to do it in 25, 30 minutes. So you have a problem there. But yeah, you got a massive problem. 5 minutes, it's massive. And your test is tomorrow. The only thing I would suggest with that is test is tomorrow with 10 o'clock in the morning. I would do a couple of mock tests between now and tomorrow and aim to do it in 20, 25 minutes. Try to train yourself to slow yourself down and see what your scores are. I got a funny feeling though, you slow yourself down in those mock tests, your score's going to be well below 49. Yeah, you shouldn't be training to do yourself far. This is for all of you. As I said in the beginning on the overview, 57 minutes is more than enough time. You should not be doing your test in 10, 15 minutes. It only normally leads to one thing. The majority of people fail on that. Let's put it that way. But yeah, I'll do a couple of mock tests between now and tomorrow and train yourself to be slower where possible. But like I said, you guys have got to ask yourself, what's the benefit of doing it fast? Especially if it comes out as a fail. Just means you've got to do it again. So technically you're doing it even longer. 10D, 45 meters is correct. What should you do first if your vehicle has broken down on an automatic railroad level crossing? Eugene, hello, welcome to you. On my provision, my doctor keeps saying he needs to check I'm doing well. Well, that's right, because it's been a while. So that's not the DVSA, then it's your doctor. So I'm assuming your health conditions needs to be monitored. Yeah, that's your doctor's delaying the process. And normally, if it could be different health issues, could be seizures, blackouts. Well, I don't want to discuss your business online, but yeah, that's to do with your doctor. I'll talk to your doctor, see how long you got to go, period of time, to show that you are going to be well, because you want to do your theory test, you want your license. Ask him the time scale. The one good thing though with that, once the license comes through, you're good to go for your theory straight away. So it's just trying to get that license so you got the driver's number to book it. I've got a D. Good morning to you. I think you guys went for A, but I got a D somewhere along the line. Get out of the vehicle. Yeah, get to safety. Why did someone go for D? Walk along the track to give warning to any approaching trains. Okay. You're driving in town. Why should you be careful if there's a bus at a bus stop on the other side of the road? Uh, 46, 52. Congratulations on passing. Thank you for coming to the live, by the way. Let me know how you got on, because you must be a first timer if you just like to watch the videos. So congratulations on passing, and good luck with the driving side of it when it comes around. Sorry, Chad, I missed this before. Thanks for the update. Test is in January again, just not too far away. How's the driving going for you though? As much as you've got 40 hours, having 40 hours doesn't mean a lot, to be fair. It's just what have you done in the 40 hours is the biggest thing. Again, I missed this before. I did my first theory on Monday and failed. I got 41 out of 59 questions wrong. 64. 9 questions wrong. It's got to be at least 5 categories. We can study really hard. be careful when you say study really hard. There's studying and there's studying. You want structured studying. I've had people study for an hour and a half at a time. Just because you study for an hour and a half, it doesn't mean to say you're taking information in. It's got to be structured. You've got to know what you're trying to get away from it. A 15-minute study session is better than an hour and a half when you're not taking nothing in. So just be aware of that. But at least you're prepared to put the work in, which is the main thing. I think I'm up to date with the comments. Right, let's take a look. 12. Where are you? 12s. Right, you're one for C, so I've got to assume that C is correct. Yeah, positions may come from behind the bus. What should you do as you approach this overhead bridge? And like I said, sometimes you look at the image, there's clues in there. Remember, if you guys got any questions, type it into the chat. Q semicolon makes it easier to find. Only type it once. So we'll see if it's got a Q in it. About your driving lessons as well. If you want to type in driving lesson questions, feel free to do that, because it is about completing the journey once you pass the theory test. How many of you actually taking driving lessons while you're studying for the theory? Or are you waiting for to pass the theory, then doing your driving? I'm going to pull it up again because pull it up again. It's already up. 13. Sam, you changed your answer, which is fine. That's what we call flagging. Me, you're taking theory tests. Yeah, if you can, I would do driving lessons while you're studying for the theory, because it reinforces it, because you're going to be using the theory while you're driving, and the driving is going to make all sense at the same time. Especially for those of you doing manual, and when the coasting question comes up, that type of thing, engine braking, it makes sense because you'll be doing that when you're driving. Right, 13C is the common one. Yeah, high vehicles, there's got 2 arrows up and down, suggest height. They've got to drive in the middle of the road, so hence why, like I said, there's clues there. Why should you try and park in a secure car park? Rufy's Touch, I'm not seeing your name, so welcome to you. First of all, congratulations on passing. 45 out of 50, 61 is a high score, 75. Thanks for the kind words, appreciate that. Searching for driving date and instructor, please. Any suggestions? Similar to what I said, I can't remember who it was. There's lack of dates all over for everybody across the board. All the little tricks I had are no longer because everybody's trying to do it. But the only thing I can say, the DVSA releases new test dates on Monday morning at 6 o'clock, 6 a.m. So you may want to get up early over the next few Mondays and just try to find a date. In terms of instructors, I don't know what area you're at. That's going to be a Google search or ask friends and family if they've got a driving instructor who can fit you in, or go to your local test centre and talk to them at source, because if they've got a test pass, they've got a space, they may be able to fit you in if they haven't got a waiting list. But I have no idea what area you're in, so I can't suggest anything other than that. So you're learning to drive at the same time. Yeah, like I said, if you can afford to study and drive at the same time, I would do that. Not only that, you're saving time as well, because think about, if you've got no driving experience and you pass the theory, let's say you pass it tomorrow. If you do 2 hours a week with no driving experience and you are an average learner, you're talking about 6 to 8 months to be even near test ready. So you're already into half of next year, basically. But if you are studying and learning to drive, when you pass the theory test, technically, you're good to go and book a driving test straight afterwards. Because like I said, two hours a week is what you're looking for. And when I say 2 hours a week, I'm talking 2 hours, one lesson, not 2 hours in for 1 week, 1 hour on a Monday, 1 hour on a Thursday, for example. Hourly lessons are going to take even longer than that. So you're looking at, if you're doing 1 hour a week, you're looking at 10 months minimum. Because it takes you longer to learn with 1 hour lessons. So ideally want 2 hours. So I'm just trying to find the 14th. I've got to go back to the beginning. Let's do this again. Right, let's do this. You're welcome. 14DD is the obvious one. Yeah. Help stop car thieves, because they could be seen if they're breaking in. You see these double white lines along the center of the road. When may you park on the left? I just done a quick mock test there in 10 minutes. I got 47 out of 50. I don't know what you mean by there. I just done a quick mock test there in 10 minutes. I don't know what there means. Is that at home or did you do it at the test? And I'm not sure, but 47 out of 50. I don't know what you want me to say to that. You say you still done a quick mock test in 10 minutes. As I said, you're doing mock tests. Once you do mock test after mock test, the brain gets used to what the answer is. So subconsciously, you're memorizing the answers. It's facts. There's nothing you can do about it. It's not deliberate, but that's what you're doing. So that's why you're getting 47 out of 50, 49 out of 50. But when you go for the real test, you're failing it. Think about it. Because now the question's worded differently and you're still rushing. The brain doesn't know what the answer is because it's worded differently. That's what I'm saying. So you doing it quickly solves no problems. Just because you're getting 47 at home, 48, 49s at home, it doesn't change the fact that when you go for the real test, you're failing it. And the reason why you're failing because you're rushing it. And because you're rushing it and the questions are worded different, the brain can't register it. So if you want to pass your next test, slow yourself down on the real test. You doing mocks in 10 minutes doesn't prove a point. It just shows that your memory is good. That's all it does. If you're my student, that's what it does. I would literally sit you down and slow you down like I've done for other students when we used to do it in the classroom. 15. Think about the adverts for driving where they say speed kills. They're saying that for a reason. Theory test, you're not going to kill anybody to speeding, but you fail. Speed fails you. On my driving lessons, when my pupils go fast, I'm saying you're rushing to fail. As simple as that. That's all you're doing. You're rushing to fail. The driving test is 35 to 40 minutes. regardless of what you do, on average traffic, you're still going to stay at 35. When you're rushing around the test route, you're only going to get back slightly quicker, 2 minutes earlier, if anything. But the result's going to be a fail. So why not take the 40 minutes and get back with a pass? Why not take 25, 30 minutes to do the theory test with a pass? Doing it in 10 minutes, 15 minutes and getting a fail makes no sense to me. But maybe it's just me, my age. You guys are going for the pickups. Yes, parking restriction. That's a red circle version, which we again cover in the boot camp. Funny enough. Why are place names painted on the road surface? All these questions came up last week in the camp. Sorry, Chad, I just seen your comment. Let's get this up. Driving is okay, make mistakes, but I'm improving every lesson and learn from my mistakes. Yes, definitely. Yes, it is okay to make mistakes. You're learning. Think about this. When you are learning anything, forget driving, forget the theory, you are going to make mistakes because you're new, you don't know everything. So driving lessons make mistakes. There's nothing wrong with them. I'm not saying go out there and make deliberate mistakes. The obvious one you don't want to make is crashing, but your instructor will keep you safe. That's why we got dual control. So that's unlikely to happen. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but it's unlikely to happen. So don't worry about crashing, but stalling, I don't know, getting too close to parked cars, slight control of the wheel, being scared of roundabouts, they're all mistakes. Make them. And as long as you've got a decent instructor who's going to make you feel calm and chilled about your mistakes rather than beat you up about it. What I mean by beat you up is having a go at you for making a mistake, then fine, make them. But if you've got an instructor who makes you feel bad about it, then I suggest you change your instructor. No instructor should make a pupil feel bad. It should be a good learning environment. And when you make a mistake, you should see the fun side. I know there's some seriousness to it, but have a bit of fun with it rather than being freaking out behind the wheel and stressing out. London 2023. Hello to you. Right, you guys are going for C. Yep, definitely. Why should you allow extra room while overtaking a motorcyclist on a windy day? And also when with making mistakes, especially like I said on the theory side of it, like I said, read your answer what you picked and try to work out why you picked it, what your state of mind was, and then understand why it's wrong, that it could never be correct. And like I said, the brain will log that and then just, you know what, next time it sees something similar, it won't choose it. The brain learns from mistakes. It doesn't always learn from being correct. So on your theory test, as long as you learn from the mistakes on the theory test, your scores improve. Like I said, someone they keep getting 41, I think it was 41, 42. And the reason being because, like I said, you're not looking at your wrong answers. You're looking at the right answers. So you're not learning anything. If your score stays stat or got to be an A, if it's got a C, A, B's and C's for one answer. If your scores is static, 41, 42, not much higher, the common reason is because you're not learning from mistakes. Selena, I just seen your comment. I'll pull it up in a minute. Let me just go through these ones. Right, you guys are really split. A, B's and C's. Why should you allow? Right, let's go for them in order. This makes no sense. Right, you're looking for, remember, you're looking for safety or a controlled outcome. Why should you allow extra room while overtaking a motorcyclist on a windy day? The rider may turn off suddenly to get out of the wind. If that's their choice, they're turning off. They're not going to turn into your path, so that makes no sense. The rider may be blown in front of you. That's a possibility. Let's tick that because it's windy. The rider may stop suddenly. The rider should be on the left in the cycle lane, so if they stop suddenly, it doesn't affect you. Get rid. The rider may be traveling faster than normal. The wind could be blowing them. But safety, the rider may be blown if it's windy. So the rider may be blown in front of you, which means that's why you give them extra room. If they're turning off, they don't turn in front of you. If they're going to stop suddenly, they stop on the left. You should be a meter away from them. And the rider may be traveling faster than normal. If they're traveling faster than normal, they're still to the left. So it doesn't affect you. This is the only one that affects you. Hence why it's B. In order to supervise a learner driver, you need to have held a full driver license for the same category of vehicle for at least 3 years. What other requirement must you meet? Right, so let me just get these comments up. All right. Selena, see what you're saying. What if your instructor says they are now going to mark on a piece of paper all your minors and serious faults? This makes me feel nervous more. Nothing wrong with that. If you're doing a mock test, he's got to mark it down. I do that with my students. I do, just in case you guys don't know, I do an intensive course. On Thursday or Friday, I take them to the test center. We use Tottenham, which is the main test center. I set up the sat nav because I do it on the sat nav because I've got the test rich programmed in my sat nav. And I tell them I'm going to be marking down stuff on my notepad. I've got my notepad in my hands. I've got my pencil in my hand. And so they know, because that's what the examiner's going to do. The examiner does iPads. They'll mark it down the same way. We do it subtly. They make a mistake and I start whipping out my pencil and writing down an essay. It's done discreetly, but it's supposed to put you in test condition. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And then you discuss it afterwards, but you have to be put through test situations so you know how you feel. So marking stuff down while you're driving is fine. And plus, when my students are driving, if we're not doing a mock test kind of thing, I'm still doing it mentally. So I'm still mentally making notes of their good things, not just their faults, what they did well, because we discuss what they do well first, and then we think about how we can improve the drive. I never start with the negatives. I'll start with the positives first. Same thing with the assessment. If we do the assessment and I have got faults, I don't start to go, well, you did this wrong, you did this wrong, you did this wrong. I said, right, that was a good drive. The reason why it was good, blah, 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 and point out some stuff they did really well. And then, right, we could improve on, and then I go into the serious and then the minors. As I said, the instructor should never make you feel bad about your driving. Right, 18. (21) or older. Right, okay, I'll see where you're going with that one. What time did you start live? 18D, I love that. Start at 10. Every Sunday, 10 a.m. Do you have idea of the duration of a practical test? If how long the test lasts for, is 35, 40 minutes. On average flowing traffic. Sorry, what did you guys go for D? Yeah, these 21. When should you check the engine oil level? This is a show me, tell me question. When should you check your engine oil level? And just in case you didn't know, show me, tell me. You're going to get 2 questions on the day of your driving test. One show me, one tell me. And this is one of them that examiner can ask you. When should you check it? And how do you know how much is in there? Sorry, chat. It's me. I know what I need to. That's common. That's common. Yes, you do need to plan. It's called awareness and planning, which is a massive part of your driving test. Is the way, again, that I explain this to my students. You want to be aware of the problem. So you see a problem, i.e. red light. And then what you want to do is check your mirrors straight away. Start planning for it. Don't wait till you get there and then start braking and all the rest of it. Boom. Red light, check mirrors. Start to slow down. Brake gives you thinking time, so you're arriving slower. That's going to give you time to work out if you need to put the clutch down if you're doing manual. And then choose the gear that you need to match the speed at. Done, sorted. So when you arrive, there isn't a problem because it's all done smooth, it's all done controlled, which means there's more chance of you passing your driving test. If you are getting on top of the problem and then start to process it, the chances are you're going to make a mistake. What category? That's down to the examiner's discretion, whether it's going to be a serious or a minor. So always plan well ahead. Awareness and planning is the key. During my practice, I never passed. My highest was 41 out of 50, but on the test day, I got 46 out of 50. Again, that's common. We did that in the boot camp where some students still struggle 41, 42. But the thing is, they got the basic knowledge of what they're looking for. And then they go for the real test and they listen to what I've told them. Read the questions, break it down, flag it, elimination, work backwards, all the tips they get. And they put that into practice and pass. That's natural. When we did it in the classroom, I didn't get many people passing in the classroom, but when they went for the real test, the pass mark was really, really high because it's about the ground knowledge of what you're looking for, which is most important. Again, think it like if you're going to, I don't know where you live, but if you got where you live is destination A and you're going to destination B, but you've never been there before, it doesn't mean that you can't get there. You can figure it out. And that's what the theory test is about. It's about understanding what they're looking for and how to work it out. And then when you go for the real test, it all goes to plan. Hopefully. That's the theory behind it anyway. You're welcome, 19. Got to see. The driving test is 35 to 40 minutes from start to finish. You're not actually driving for 40 minutes. To be honest, you're driving for about 27 minutes, give or take. But the test goes quickly. Before you know it, you're back and it feels like you only drove for 20 minutes. But it's just stressful. And the driving test is actually easy. And I'll tell you why it's easy, because you've already done everything on the driving lessons. The examiners are asking for anything different. All he's saying is, show me what you did on your driving lessons without any help. Boom. And then you go off and do that. Right, you guys went for B. Interesting. Before a long journey. Let me just write this down. No, before a long journey. Before a long journey, based on this, is the correct one. They can give you another version. When should you check your oil? When the engine's cold is the other option. So if this is not here, but it's when the engine's cold. And for the show me, tell me question on your driving test, it should be between minimum and maximum. Oh, 20 already. You're following two cyclists as they approach a roundabout in the left-hand lane. Where would you expect the cyclist to go? Please talk about the 6-point check. Well, I'll talk about it in a minute. I'll talk about that. I'll tell you why I'm laughing. Let me just go for the 20s first. Out of interest, 6-point check. Is that what you do in your driving lessons? 6-point check. Because for those of you that are driving, are you doing a 6-point check on your driving lesson? Just type yes. For those of you doing driving lessons, do you do a 6-point check? Just type yes in the comment section before I cover that. Right, you guys are going for A. Any direction, cyclists would choose the safest route for them, not the same route as a car. Yeah, they would choose the safest route for them, not the same route as a car. So, for example, if you're turning right, you, the driver, turning right, you be in the right-hand lane, a cyclist can turn right from the right-hand lane or left-hand lane. They choose the safest route for them. Sorry, something just jumped here. I've got no. Francesca's got coming through 19. We're on 20. I failed the 6-point check on the assessment. You didn't fail 6-point check on assessment. I'm going to tell you why in a minute. And Yolanda's saying yes. Wow. Okay. All right. Let me just do these comments first quickly, and then I'll answer that. No, better still. Let me finish this mock test. 20A. Right. That's because this is why we're here. Right. So, categories. Remember I said to you at the beginning, do the categories in turn. That's how you should study. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's not a lot. 8 categories out of 14 for a 20-question mock test. Broken down. Incident, accident, emergency 4. Motorway rules 4. And that's how it could work. So you can get 4 out of this. So like I said, this category is weak in your knowledge. You're already down to 46 because you got 4 wrong. If you got motorway rules with that, that's not 8. That's a fail. Attitude 1. Rules of the road 2. Vulnerable road users 4. Hazard awareness 2. Safety in your vehicle 2. Documents 1. So that's how your theory test can be made up. You just don't know which category you're going to get. So if you've got a strong category, you may get a lot of questions in the strong category. If you've got a weak category, you may get a lot of questions wrong in the weak category. So that's why I keep saying study the categories individually, especially because if you do mock test after mock test, the app is not designed to show you every single question. So if you did 2 mock tests, for example, that's 2 50s, that's 100 questions, you would not get 100 different questions. And that's why you need to be exposed to all the categories. You guys are all saying yes, you do a 6-point check. Oh, wow. Okay, let me just cover these quickly first and I'll explain about the 6-point check. Question for the hazard is the best way to practice via the mock test or solo clips that you haven't seen or get low scores, because I keep getting the same clips in the mock test so I know where the click is. To start off with, I would do individuals. So obviously, I'm assuming you covered all the hazards on the app. I would start off with individual clips and then review it back so you know what you're working with. So you get consistent getting 4s and 5s. And then I would do mock tests because you need to train the brain to concentrate for 14 video clips. That's the reason why you're doing it. So you're training the brain to be used to doing 14 video clips. So when you go for the real test, it's not foreign. That's what you need to do. But once you've covered all the apps, all the clips on the apps, there's not much you can do. Maybe search online for different ones. But to be fair, hazard is a hazard. Once you know what you're looking for and you're getting 4s and 5s, it doesn't change. The questions is the problem because the questions change and they're worded differently. A hazard is a hazard. It doesn't change regardless of what video you're watching. You just need to find the hazard. There's a difference. So yeah, that's the best way to do it. But if you've done all the videos, hopefully you're scoring and passing on regular. It's not going to change, so you're good to go with that. Yolanda, I am 8 months into my practical driving lesson. My mock test shows I'm 70% test ready. I've decided to add extra lessons in the week leading to the test. Is this a good decision? No, it's a bad decision. A mock test is not designed for you to pass it. It's designed to show you where you're at. So you're 70% ready. You putting extra lessons in the week before the test is only going to pressure on yourself because you're going to realize, hold on a minute, I'm still not getting to where I need to be. And that's when the pressure comes in. And if your instructor may not take you to the test, so you've waited to the week of the test and they may cancel it because every driving test is logged against our badge. And if we take pupils who aren't near test ready, the examiners are going to start asking questions. And what an instructor doesn't want is a check test. A check test is when the chief examiner sits in the back of your car and watch you give a lesson. If you are bringing people who aren't test ready on a regular basis, they're going to call you up for a check test. And trust me, as much as I do a check test and I'm decent with a check test, I don't want an examiner in my car. So I wouldn't do that. The question is, why would you wait the week of the test to get ready? You should be ready before the test, so you go into it and pass it. So it's a bad idea. Unless if your instructor allow you to do that as well, because I wouldn't let my students do that. Is hazard perception video CGI? Is the hazard perception video CGI during the actual? Yes, they're all CGIs. This is coming up a lot, and I've noticed when I'm doing it in the boot camp, when I do the hazard perception demonstration in the boot camp, I do a couple of real life clips and a couple of CGIs. The real life clips, for some reason, aren't tallying. Sometimes you click it and you see it and you think, yeah, that's a 5 or a 4. And when you replay it back, it's a 0 or a 1. So if you're getting a low score on the real life clips, don't be upset about it, because sometimes they're just not syncing. That's just the way it is at the moment for some reason. Even I'm noticing that. But the CGIs is where you need to be concerned with. If you're getting a low score on the CGIs, you need to improve on the CGIs. When you go for the real test, it's all CGI. So don't worry about the real life clips too much with that. Right, so let me... Can I ask my friend instructor to accompany on my test? Can I ask my friend instructor to accompany on my test? Yes, you can, if they want to be doing that. They're still going to charge you for it, unless they, because it's their time. But yeah, you can ask the instructor, they're qualified. Remember, it's 21 years and 3 years of holding a license. 21 years old and 3, at least. Over 21, had your license for over 3 years, then you can ask anyone to go with you. To move that. Right. Because the last one I did 65. If you're getting 50 plus on a regular basis, don't worry about hazard perception. Focus on the questions. Like I said, a hazard's a hazard. It doesn't change from video to video. You just need to find out the hazard. A hazard is anything that calls you to slow down or change direction, which I'm going to do a demonstration in a minute. So as long as you can see something that's going to call you to slow down or change direction, you're good. The questions, you don't know how the question is going to be worded. You don't know which question you're going to get. That's the difficult part. The hazard perception is the easy part. Right, you guys have got all yes in your comments. They're not an official instructor, just my friend. So they're not instructor. There can only be a PDI, which is potential driving instructor, or an ADI, an actual driving instructor, approved driving instructor, not actual. There's only 2 types, one with a green badge and one with a pink badge. If he hasn't got a pink badge or a green badge, he's not an instructor. But if he's your friend, got a license, and for 3 years, over 21, he can go with you. It's not a problem. You can take anyone with you who's legally allowed to drive and meets the criteria. Again, someone's got the CGIs. Right, so let me do the 6-point check, because I keep talking about it and you guys are coming in with different comments. Right, 6-point check is what is basic standards, right? That's 6-point check for those of you don't know who's not taking driving lessons, checking all the mirrors plus your blind spots. What the examiner's looking for from you on your driving test is you checking the blind spots. The way I don't teach 6-point check, I think it's a waste of time, because what the examiner's looking for is you checking your blind spots, because blind spot does mirrors and more. Mirrors do not do blind spots. So if you check your mirrors and your blind spot, your 6-point check, you're good. You ain't going to fail your driving test. If you check your mirrors and no blind spot, you're going to fail, not going to fail. You're going to get marked down because there's no blind spot checks. If you've done no mirrors and blind spot, you will still pass, because the blind spot does mirrors and more. What I teach my students is just do an all-round check. So you start with the left blind spot, the literally boom, and you just do a sweeping look all around. Because when I teach pupils to do a 6-point check, back in the day when I first started, they did like robots. All they did was like a robot. By the time you did that, you got to go back. It's too long. It's all you're doing is checking to see if it's safe to go. So check safe, 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 go. That's all the examiner's looking for. All this checking 6 times is pointless. So that's the reason why. I know when you talk to your instructor, it's not going to be a favorable thing when it said, you said, you talk to your instructor whenever you had your lesson. Dorian said, oh, they're going to turn around and say, oh. But if you Google it, at nowhere does it say you've got to do a 6-point check. You ask any examiner, nowhere does it say you have to do a 6-point check. You're wasting your time doing a 6-point check. Check your blind spot. Start with your left, down the road to make sure, over the right shoulder, and go. And as you're moving, you can check your wing mirror just to make sure you haven't missed anything. But as long as you check your blind spots, you're good. 6-point check, you're wasting your time. But like I said, every instructor, some instructors are old school. They stick to what they was taught years and years ago. I was taught to teach 6-point check. Driving tests has changed. Examiners are more flexible. So that's my little tip for you. Right, so let me catch up with these things. Problem is most apps are not available on desktops. True, 100%. They are designed for you to do on the move. With that, please, I need your boot camp. The link is in the description, or jump onto the website. The link is in the description. When this video finishes, live finishes, YouTube process it. You can go in, the link is in there. And just say, me too. Can I ask my instructor? I've done that one. They're not official. Done that one on tests. Are they real? Done that one. They're all CGIs. I'm going to do a demonstration in a minute. Thank you. So I just need to read this again, get my dyslexia around this. It's not worded the way my brain works. Thank you. Okay, let me come back to that one. I failed practice. I failed the practice hazard real life one, but did well on CJ. Yeah, like I said, for some reason, the real life ones aren't syncing up properly, so it doesn't tally with the click. It's not you, it's just the app. So like I said, if you get a bad score, a low score in the hazard, because when I do it in the bootcamp, I do a demonstration, my score's not the best. I scrape a 2 or a 3, but I'm not fussed about it because like I said, it's real life. On the CGI, if I'm getting 2s and a 3s, then I'll be worried. But yeah, it's the CGIs you want to focus on. Yeah, it's all CGIs on the real test. And based on feedback, the real test is slightly slower than the app as well, so you've got a little bit more time to spot the hazard. If you're getting 3s on your clips, you're still good to go, but you're borderline. You're going to get 44 if you've got 3 on every clip. Ideally, you want 4s and 5s. You're not going to get 4s and 5s on every clip, but you want your majority 4s and 5s, so you're hitting the 50 mark. If you're below 50, you still just want to focus just in case you get trigger happy and you get a 0 on the day. At least getting 4s and 5s by 50, 55s on the natural scores. If you get a low score, your average is still going to be above 44, which is the main thing. Do you check the left blind spot when parked on the left by the curb? Yes, because with driving tests, you're parked up on the left 4 times. You may have driveways. You're parked at somebody's house. You want to make sure no one's coming out the driveway and no one's coming out houses and stuff like that. So you check your left blind spot. If you're parked on the left, you check your left and you work your way around. So you literally just over your left shoulder, down the road, and then over your right shoulder. When you do the reversing right, you park up on the right, you start from the right shoulder, and then you go to your left. But the blind spot is what the examiner, if you don't check your blind spot, you're going to get marked. I'll show you in a minute on the test sheet as well. She's 68. Here we go. I can't pronounce your name, but he or she's got 68 out of 75, which is a really high score for a real test with the nerves kicking in. That's an amazing score, 68. So well done for passing. First of all, congratulations, and thank you for coming to the live and let me know how you got on. I have 8 hours left out of 10-hour block. That is booked. My instructor says an extra 4.5 hours will be okay to do on the week leading to the practical test. Right, this is, Yolanda, let me just deal with you first, because you've got here, you're thinking about postponing the test, right? On your previous message, you said you were 70% ready and you're willing to put lessons on the week of the test to take your test. But then if that's the case, why don't you flip it and put the extra work in now before the test, so you are ready for the test, so you don't need to cancel it? Because if you thought you can put the extra hours on the week of the test and be ready, why don't you do it now before the test and be ready, and then just keep it topped up until the test? But if you're postponing it, that means you wasn't going to be ready in the first place. That's why I said it's a bad idea to put the extra lessons on the week of the test. If you're not ready for a test when the week comes, you shouldn't be thinking about taking the test. But it's 10 working days notice you've got to give to cancel it. So if you cancel it on the week of the test, you're going to lose your money. But going back to this comment, I have 8 hours left out of 10. So it does 10-hour block bookings, which is fine. Marsha said I need the 4.5 hours will be okay to do on a week of the lead into the practical test. That doesn't make sense to me. Again, if you're 70% ready, I've got 8 hours left out of 10, so you've got 8 hours. If you're doing 2 hours, that's 4 lessons, and then 4.5 hours. Again, is he counting these 4.5 hours as hours and nothing to do with the driving test? Because on the day of a driving test, you normally do get picked up an hour before the test or an hour and a half before the driving test. So is he including this on test day as well, or just for driving lessons? This is a conversation you need to have with your driving instructor, a really serious conversation. But if you're 70% ready, I don't know when your test is. There's nothing wrong with doing the lessons and get ready for the test rather than cancelling it. But if you're a long way off, or the test is literally 2 weeks away, for example, then you may need to think about pushing it back. But I would try to hold the date, because you know how hard it is to get a test date, and then do what you need to do to be ready for it. If you've got 8 hours here, 4 hours, that's 12.5 hours. And if you think that's going to be enough, just do them now, knock them out now. And then a week of the test, you can add any more if you need it. But hopefully that helps. But have a conversation with your instructor. It's very hard for me to do that when I don't know how your structure is or when the test date is. Any tips for passing 50 questions in the theory test? My test is in 4 weeks. Study. That's the only tips I can give you. There's no other way around that. And you've got 4 weeks. You've got plenty of time. I thought as much. He was just looking for a way to book me for more lessons to make money. No, not necessarily. Some instructors are old school. They just literally, they was taught X a while ago, and they will stick to X regardless. So doing a 6-point check, there's nothing wrong with the 6-point check. I just don't see the point of doing it, because you don't need it. So you're not wasting money with a 6-point check. But like I said, some instructors are just old school. They literally stick to the ways they're being taught. Example, when I was taught to teach, when I was taught to drive, you go through the gears. You literally go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't do that anymore. You skip the gears. You skip gears 1 to 3, 2 to 4, 4 to 6. When you're doing fast speed work, when you go down the gears, I don't teach my pupils to go from 3 to 1 if they're stopping at 3 to 1. When they're stopping at a red traffic light, I'll tell them to go straight to 1. 3, use the brake, slow down, get the speed for first gear, and go straight to 1. Skip gears. It saves time. It's less stress. It's less hassle. So not that your instructor's teaching you wrong. It's just adding work that doesn't need to be added in. That's my view. I think driving lessons should be easy, simple as possible. And that's the way I teach it. 6-point check was the only errors he complains about. But if you're doing a 6-point check, how do you fail? That's what I'm saying. You've done the blind spots. So I don't see how you fail on the 6-point check. Because if you do a 6-point check, you've covered everything. That's my point. You've covered everything. So I don't see how you failed on a 6-point check. Thank you for responding to my question. I certainly appreciate it. No problem, Chidi. When do you suggest my block booking? When do you suggest my block booking? Are we talking about a driving test there? When do you suggest my block booking? I'm not understanding what you mean by block booking. If you're talking about a driving test, why would you do a block booking? I'm not understanding that question. You've got to give me a bit more context behind that. My instructor said I need 5 hours. I decided to book a 10-hour. I was hoping to use an extra 5 hours. Right, there is some message come out. I don't know if you guys can still hear me or see me. Just type yes into the chat. It's asking me to end the stream because of the internet connection. So just type yes in the chat if you can still hear me or see me. Otherwise, I'm talking to myself. Just gonna wait to see if you guys can hear me. If you can hear me, see me, just type yes. Someone type yes into the chat. Right, okay. All yeses. All right, fine, because the message came up to say the stream was stopped because of the internet connection. All right, let me catch up with some of the messages that you guys typed in. Right, block booking are done. All right, Yolanda said to you, let me know when your test date is. So I've got a better idea what we're talking about. Yes, I've done that blind spot before moving off. Then I don't see how you got marked down for a 6-point check. Blind spot's got to be done before moving on. Not understanding that. I passed my theory test on Wednesday. As a first time, I scored 47 out of 50, 55. I was flagged once for pressing unacceptable in my hazard test. Glad I could keep calm and pass still. Thanks for all you do. Johnson, you are welcome. Thank you for coming to the live. Let me know how you got on. He still wants me to act like a robot on the 6-point check. So they're not flexible. Like I said, I'm not saying he's doing anything wrong. He or she's doing anything wrong. Me personally, let's just get on with driving this rather than checking the mirrors and taking 30 seconds to check blind spots. Just go. That's what the driving instructor wants. Let's give him what he wants. Have had a chat with him and we'll decide on my next lesson how to proceed with the future lessons. No problem. And you guys are all saying yes, you can still hear me and see me. Yes, loud and clear. All right. So let me quickly show you the test report sheet so you can see how it all ties in. Hopefully my iPad doesn't freeze. My test is 4 weeks, October. Test is in 4 weeks, and then you add 8 hours plus 4 hours. That's 12.5 hours over 4 weeks. 12.5 hours over 4 weeks. 3, 6, 9, 12. 3, 6, 9, 12. That's 3 hours a week, give or take. If he feels that you're going to be ready for the test by doing those hours, then there's nothing wrong with it. What I would do is front load it. What I mean by that, if you've got 4 weeks, I will try to front load as much lessons in the 2 weeks to make sure. And that way, if you're not going to be ready after that, then you can cancel it without losing your test fees because you've got the 2 weeks, 10 working days. That's what I would do. I front load the lessons and get as many as you can within those 2 weeks. And hopefully you reach the standard that's required and then just polish up whatever you need over the 3rd and 4th week. That's the way, if it was my people, that's the way I would look to go. But outside of that, to cancel the test date, God knows when the next one's going to be. All right, so let me show you the report sheet. iPad. So this is I'll put this back. Let's get rid of this. Right, sorry. This is the report sheet. So as we done the theory training, number 17, traffic signs, road markings, traffic lights, traffic controls, other roads. There's your theory test right there. For those of you talking about your 6-point check moving off, it comes under this, moving off, box 13, moving off safely. If, like I said, if you check your blind spots from an examiner's point of view before you move, that is safely. So you're saying you can't hear me? Can you guys, is it just you can't hear me, or can anybody else hear me? Just type in yes or no, because it's going out live. Like I said, there's an internet connection there. So someone just say to me, can you hear me? Yes or no? Because Angela said we can't hear. Can you hear me? Yeah, you saying you can hear me. Okay, so it just looks like one person. All right. So like I said, for the 6-point check, it is box 13. Like I said, from the examiner's point of view, he wants you to move off safely. Blind spot is safe. 6-point check is also safe. But why do 6 points when you can only do 3? Left shoulder, down the road, right shoulder, you're good to go. That's that. Hazard perception now. We are talking about box 14. Before you signal, this is mirrors. Use your mirrors before you signal, change direction, and change the speed. That's what your hazard perception is. It's you checking the mirror. See a problem, click. Problem, click. That's what it is. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, let me just catch up with... Oh, let me just quickly, again, because you guys are talking about drum tests a lot while I'm here. Remember, you're going to get parked up on the left minimum 4 times. So if you go across to box 25, that's where he marks it down. So he will say to you, park up somewhere safe, convenient on the left, and he'll mark it down if you don't choose somewhere safe and convenient. So no one's driveways, no yellow lines within 10 meters of a junction. So that's where he marks you off. And then when you go to move off, he's looking for box 13 in that situation. And someone, I think it was Chad, I don't know if he's still here, but Chad was talking about he knows what to do, but sometimes he doesn't do it, he learns from the mistakes. This is box 26, awareness and planning. Again, aware of the problem, plan for the problem. There is no problem, so there's nothing to mark. So that's how that works. So I'm going to catch up with the comments and do a hazard perception for you guys as well. So let's just quickly. All right, so everyone's saying they can hear me loud and clear. I don't have my ferry book 27th October. I have no idea on driving. Should I start driving lessons and do the ferry alongside it? If you can, it doesn't affect you. You can still pass the ferry doing no driving, but it goes hand in hand. It helps the drive and the driving helps the ferry. But if you're tested book 27th, I would more concern. Your test is already booked. Just focus on doing the ferry, pass it. Don't go and do driving lessons just for the sake because you got the ferry test booked. So I'll just focus on the ferry and get it over and done with. When's the proper time to book for driving test before pass? You can't book a ferry. Sorry, you can't book a driving test before the ferry. The ferry has to come first because when they give you the pass certificate, the numbers on there, the ferry test number you have to use to book your driving test. That's why you do the ferry first. So you can take driving lessons before you pass the ferry, but you can't take a driving test or book a driving test before you pass the ferry. From your point of view, what are your recommendations for the number of times one should practice driving with an instructor before one can pass for driving test? Thanks. From your point of view, what are your recommendations for the number of times one should... I can't answer that. Everyone's different. Because if you have a learning disability, it's going to take you longer than an average person. There's fast learners, there's medium pace, there's slow learners, and there's learning disabilities. So I can't answer that. And it also depends on your finances. If you're an average learner, I would suggest doing 2 hours minimum a week and try to have it regular. If you can choose the same slot every week, it's even better. Monday, for example, 4 o'clock. I probably wouldn't do 4 o'clock to be fair, school run. Somewhere in the daytime, but let's just say 4 o'clock anyway, 4 till 6 every Monday. So every 7 days, the brain gets used to that. It will log information. It's learning every 7 days. That's what I would do. Minimum 2 hours a week. But if you've got no driving experience, that's going to take you at least 6 to 8 months. That's something you need to be aware of. When is it most appropriate to book for a driving practice with an instructor, before passing the ferry or after? Again, I would do it at the same time. That's my opinion, but it's not essential. I would do the ferry at the same time as learning to drive, because as I said, keep saying the drive, you remember you're using the ferry for the driving lessons. You're seeing the road signs, you're seeing road markings, you're seeing pedestrians, you're seeing zebra crossings. So you're using that knowledge. So it's going to reinforce it. And if you go for the ferry test and the question comes that you've never seen before, you can try to put yourself in the driving seat, and then you see from a safety value, and it makes you a better chance of passing the ferry test. But you can still pass the ferry without taking any driving lessons. But like I said, I run intensive courses, and at the end of the day, those guys study the ferry as well. They come into the boot camp as well, and they do the ferry over the 4 days, because their ferry test is normally booked on a Friday. So they do the boot camp in 4 days, and they go on to pass and book their driving test over the weekend. You're welcome. Let me know how that goes on. And like I said, every instructor is different. He may not be happy with what I told you, but you're paying the cash, so get what you can out of it, in terms of you've got a test date booked. You want to take the test where possible. Get ready. Just front load the first 2 weeks of October with lessons, and then see where you're at. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Right, guys are still saying they can hear me. Right, okay. I think I'm all caught up. Right, hazard perception. So let me quickly explain hazard perception. You're looking for anything that's going to cause you to slow down, or change direction. So if you're slowing down, it's a rear view mirror. And if you're changing direction, it's left or right door mirror. That's why I say hazard to hazard. All you got to do is spot it. And you're trying to get a score within their countdown window. It starts at 5, finishes at 1. Anything before the 5, anything after the 1 is a 0. So you want to go for 2 clicks. It's not about you seeing it. It's about you getting a score for it. So you click, and then you go 1, 2, and then you click again, and then you go from there. So I've just seen other comments. So I'm going to plug my phone. I need to do it on my phone because the iPad keeps freezing. And let me find ferry test. So remember, see a problem, click, count 1, 2, and then go again. I'm going to do a CGI, and then I'll do a free real life clip. And then let's do one that I've not seen before. So I'll share my screen. So I'll do a real life clip so you can see the poor quality, and then I'll do a CGI. So I'll do a commentary drive as well. And then I suggest you guys doing a commentary drive on your driving lessons. It's going to help you think ahead. Chad, maybe that, if you're still here, a commentary drive can help you out as well. So I'll do a commentary. I've got to download it as well. So I can't see around the bend, so I'm going to click what if something's around there. Roadworks. There's another bend. There's always a what if there's something around the bend. The traffic is slowing down. Person's crossing the road. I think I'm well late on that one. And like I said, the real life clips aren't tallying at the moment, so it'd be interesting to see what score I got for that. But keep going just in case there's your double. And when you're driving, you want to be looking as far ahead as you can see. And go from pavement to pavement, because road signs are on the pavement. And I can't see nothing else for me to click on. Oh, 5 out of 5. All right, and always review it back. So just show you that I'm not cheating. If I can get that. Hold on 1 sec. So you can see it, 5 out of 5. Always review back to see if you can improve as well. Let me just do it this way. It's going to flip. Right, let me just speed it up for the sake of the live. Interconnection seems poor. So, oh, look, there you go. There's my first click. So I've seen a problem. There's my first click, a 0. That's why you go for 2 clicks. So I've gone for a second one. It landed in a 5. The guy crossing the road, another 2 clicks. My lowest score's a 1. They'll always give you the highest score. So I repeat, let me just rewind it back so you can see it. My first click is there, too early. But because I go for 2 clicks, I'm covering myself. That's the reason why you want to go for 2 clicks per problem. not one. There's no benefits in clicking once. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me catch up with the comments, and then I'll do the real CGIs. I didn't pass my test. I got 41, 50, 64, 75. It was my first time. Your videos really helped a lot. Okay, 64 has perception sorted. Just don't neglect it. Keep your eye in by practicing. 41, that's 5 categories wrong at least. 9 questions wrong. So what you need to do is look at the categories and then restudy those categories and then book another test. That's what I would do with that. I just did a hazard mock there with your advice and got 69. Wow, really high score. Well done to you. I will update you. The instructor does think I will pass, but again, I will see how the next 2 weeks go, then decide whether to postpone the test. Yeah, thanks for that, Yolanda. But I would try to move financially. I don't know. Because if you already got 8 hours already, because you pay for 10 and you got 8 hours left, I would try and move heaven and earth to keep the test date. Because if you're 70% ready, then there's no reason why you can't get the other 30%. But because, like I said, you don't know when that next test date's going to be. All right. I think that's the last comment on that. So let me do a CGI. So, okay, let's do one that I've not seen before now. I share the phone. So, right, I'm in the left-hand lane. You've got the lorry to my left coming on from the slip road. Just check that. The road's narrowing. I'm going to click again. And now he's got a signal, so I click again. I think I got 0 for that, to be fair, but hey, learn from mistakes. And again, keep checking because you don't know if it's your double. So keep looking ahead, going from hard shoulder to say crash barrier, hard shoulder to crash barrier, just in case. Because road signs, as you can see, is on the left. The road narrows on both sides, and the arrow on the floor is telling me to get to the right-hand lane. Again, nothing else is going on. Oh, 4 out of 5 on this one. Scale down. 4 out of 5. Always review back to see how you can improve. See, that's where I clicked. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me move myself out of the way because I think I'm blocking. Unlock scene. Hold on 1 second. Unlock that. Let me move myself out of the way. Right, so hold on. Let me just rewind it back so you guys can see better. So it's telling me I should have clicked there. And for me personally, there's not a danger there because there's no way on earth I'm going to hit him with all those grass bits and pieces in my way. But that's what the video says I should start clicking. And that's how you can improve. And there's my 4. And when I go again, that's a 3. I went again just to make sure I get a score. And that's the reason why you do 2 clicks per problem. So hopefully that's making sense to you guys. If it isn't, then type it into the chat while I'm still here. And we can talk about it. All right, let's go back to your comments. Any pass first time, first trial, 46 out of 50. Congratulations on passing. I've not seen your name before, so welcome to the live. And thank you for breaking the silence. Do you reckon I should still focus on the hazard or... Do you reckon I should still focus on the hazard or... This is for all of you, never neglect the hazard perception because you want to train the eyes and the brain to concentrate and focus on that. So I would never neglect the hazard perception, but for you, you need to slow yourself down. That's the biggest issue. When you first came into the live, you said you failed because you the answer too fast. You know what your problem is, but notice how you know what the problem is, but you can't change it. And that's the reason why I'm saying to you, it's not going to be easy, because you trained yourself to be fast. But you know what the problem is, but you can't do nothing about it. Ask yourself why you can't do nothing about it if you know what the problem is. Because it's a problem. You're addicted to speed. That's what it comes down to. And again, I'm not saying it's deliberate. It's just the way you are trained and wired now. That's how the brain works. So you have to focus on slowing yourself down. If you slow yourself down, you're going to get the result you're looking for on your next test. But if you don't, it's unlikely to happen. In my experience, most people that speed up fail. And that's one of the things I work with them mentally, to slow themselves down. All right, so vaccines, but I wish you luck with that though, Pigman. Because you seem level-headed. So we just need to change your mindset, which is good. Because if you're level-headed, then you're halfway there. But if you don't know what your problem is, then you've got a long way to go. But you seem level-headed, so I wish you the best of luck with that. Are we to expect different videos on the test? Yes, different questions, all worded differently. And on the videos, yes, you're going to get lots of different videos, again, because they got a massive database of different videos that they've filmed. So yeah, it's going to be different videos with that one. But I repeat, a hazard is a hazard. Are we looking for something that's going to cause you to slow down or change direction? You're sorted. But like I said, if you don't know what a hazard is in the first place, then you're always going to struggle. Aitahan, if I'm saying that correctly, but welcome, even though we're signing off now. But yeah, that's the last one. So how long did you're not coming up for some reason? It's there. It's just shrunk. A lot of technical issues. Hold on 1 second. I'm just trying to get this thing up. There we go. It's too big. A lot of technical issues this morning, but thank you guys for sticking it out. Right, let's take a look at what this guy's saying. Right, just wondering how long it takes to book a practical test. How long's a piece of string? If you're lucky, no time at all. If you're unlucky, it can take you a long time, because everyone's searching for the few test dates. So that I can't answer. And it also depends how often you're going to go online to look for a test date. So I've got no answer for that one. Again, it's done the same thing. So I'm just trying to get this. There we go. Slightly bigger. There we go. Right, what I'm trying to do is increasing my time by 2 minutes per mock test so that I can try and get it around to 20-30 minutes. That's not going to work. Because you said you're doing the mock test in 5 minutes. How many mock tests are you going to do? If you increase it 2 minutes at a time to get it to 20, you're already doing 55 minutes. You need 15 divided by, that's about, what's that, 7 mock tests? 7 twos are 14. So you've got to do 7 mock tests to get to 20. As I said, you've got a problem. There's a massive problem there to slow yourself down, because you already know what the answer is on the mock test itself, on the apps. You already know what the answers are. So the brain's just going to boom, 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 boom. But you slowing down by 2 minutes per mock is not going to change everything. That's 7 mock tests you've got to do just to get to 19 minutes with the 5 that you're already doing. What I'd probably try and do is go online and type in theory test questions. Or if you've got Chat GPT, ask the AI to do you a 50-question mock test where you answer it and it gives you the answers at the end of it, give you the 4 options. The question will be worded differently, then you have to slow yourself down to read it. That's what I would do. The apps, you already know the answer to the apps, so you can't untrain your brain to slow down because it's fake. You're slowing down for the sake of slowing down when it already knows the answer. And it's going to be frustrating for you as well. So that's what I would probably do. Probably go online, see if you can find online theory tests, not the apps, online theory test questions, or ask Chat GPT to say, look, I want to do a 50 question theory test. Could you give me 50 questions, 4 options? Let me answer it, and then you can work out what I got out of the 50 and see how long it takes you that way. But you have to untrain yourself to answer these questions quickly. That's not the way to go. Is the boot camp for practical? Yes. 2 hours a day, you get to talk to me. It's a classroom environment, and I'll break it down in more details, the questions, the answers that you may get on the theory test. And you get to ask any questions while we are there. And you get tested at the end of each session as well. Plus, you've got the recordings. So if you do struggle with anything, you can replay the recordings back in your own time. And you've got email support. First of all, Edith, congratulations on passing. Sorry. And thank your wife for me for recommending, but congratulations on passing. What is pavement? Pavement is where you walk. When you're walking on the roads, you're walking on the pavement. I remember the name. I don't know if you remember me. I came last stream. I passed with theory test 3 weeks ago watching only your videos. I'm going to do my practical test in Crawley tomorrow. Wow, got a test date that quick. I wish you luck with that. Again, come back next week and let us know how you got on with your driving test. But I wish you the best of luck with that. You're welcome. You have a good week as well. Right, so that's the last comment. I want to wish you guys the safe week. Studying wise, make sure it's structured as well when you're studying. Don't just do an hour here, an hour there. Make sure you know what you're trying to get out of it and what you want to learn out of it. But most importantly, stay safe. Any questions that you got, write them down, bring it to the live next week. Let's answer. It was a good session today. I like the combination of the theory test questions and the driving test questions. Yeah, you guys need, for those of you taking theory, start to think about your driving lessons and stuff like that, how it's going to be linked in. But yeah, it was a nice session today. I really, really enjoyed it. So I will see you guys next week, 10 a.m. for you latecomers. Stay safe and enjoy the rest of your week, and happy studying.